Dyskinesia. It can be one of those words that scare you before you have it. That can frustrate you when you do have it and confuse people all around you. You hear the stories, you see the movements, and you read the warnings. And suddenly the medication that might help you move better today starts feeling like something to fear tomorrow. I get it. Dyskinesia can be scary. Your body moves without permission. People stare and you feel embarrassed. And Parkinson's finds yet another way to make you say, really, we're doing this today? Which honestly is very on brand for Parkinson's. But today I want to talk to you about dyskinesia honestly, not to scare you, not to tell you what medication to take, but to talk about the fear, the reality, and why I personally do not regret starting Levodopa early. Because the goal is not to always feel perfect for 1 hour. The goal is to feel good enough as long as possible. And stay with me to the end because I'm going to give you the exact sentence that I would use with my neurologist to explain dyskinesia without saying I move too much. Because I move too much might be true, but your doctor needs more than that. And my body has become a one-man backup dancer without permission is probably not an official medical language. Yet.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the broadcast. If you're new here, my name is Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and I've been living with it now for over 15 years. Now this week we're continuing our mini-series on Parkinson's moments that can completely change your day. We talked about off periods, we talked about sleep, and today we're talking about the other side of the medication conversation, dyskinesia. When the medication works, but your body starts moving in ways you did not ask it to move. And I think this matters because a lot of people are terrified of dyskinesia. Sometimes so terrified that they delay medication, avoid medication, or suffer longer than they need to because they're scared of what might happen later. So let's talk about it. First, dyskinesia is not the same as a tremor. A tremor often has more of a rhythm. Dyskinesia is different. It's an involuntary movement. It can look like swaying, rocking, twisting, head bobbing, shoulder movement, facial movement, or just really not being able to sit still. Sometimes it looks like your body is improvising choreography nobody asked for. And that is why people misunderstand it. They might think you're nervous or restless or on something, or just not controlling yourself. But you're not choosing it. You're not trying to get attention. You're not being dramatic. Your body is moving without permission. And one of the hardest parts is that you know it's happening. You feel people looking. You start trying to hold still. You sit on your hands. You avoid eye contact. You pick the corner seat. And before you know it, dyskinesia is not just moving your body, it's starting to shrink your confidence. So if you deal with dyskinesia and you hate it, I understand. You're allowed to hate it. You should hate it. It can be frustrating, exhausting, and embarrassing. But here's the part we also need to talk about. The fear of dyskinesia can become its own problem. Now, I hear a lot of people say things like Levodopa causes dyskinesia, and that sentence gets burned into the brain. And suddenly, Levodopa becomes the villain. So they think, you know what, I'll wait. I'll tough it out. I'll avoid medication as long as possible. And I understand that fear. Nobody wants to trade one problem for another. But here's the question I think we need to ask. What is Parkinson's taking from you while you're waiting? Because untreated or undertreated Parkinson's is not harmless either. It can steal your movement, your confidence, your independence. It can make your world smaller before you even realize it's happening. So this is not a simple medication good or medication bad conversation. It is a quality of life conversation. And the quality of life matters now. Your ability to move today matters. Your ability to go for a walk, to get out of a chair, to go to dinner, exercise, visit family, or just feel like yourself in your own body matters. Now, I'm not saying everyone should start medication at the same time. That is between you and your doctor. But what I am saying is this. Do not let fear make the decision by itself. Fear is loud. Fear sounds confident. Fear shows up with a clipboard and acts like it runs the place. But fear does not always understand your life. Now, this is where my own story comes in. When I first started working with my doctor on medication, we were constantly trying to find the right balance. He used to ask me, what percentage do you feel compared to normal? And I would say something like maybe 60%. So we would adjust the meds or change the timing, maybe add half a pill. We were trying to find the right amount, not too little, not too much levodopa, just enough. And I remember one appointment so clearly. I'd woken up and I felt amazing. I mean, amazing. It was one of those mornings where I thought, wait a second, is this what normal feels like? I remember walking into that appointment feeling like I had won the Parkinson's lottery. My doctor asked, how are you feeling? And I said, honestly, I feel 100%. And I meant it. It felt so good. And he looked at me and he said, okay, good. Now we're going to cut you back. Cut me back? Like I just remember thinking, excuse me? I just told you I felt great. Do you not understand how rare that is? I wanted to grab him by the white coat and say, sir, I just found the magic setting. Why are you touching the dial? I was mad, and not a little mad. I was internally flipping tables because in my mind, the goal was obvious. If I can feel 100%, why wouldn't we want that? And then he said something that I did not appreciate at the time. What he said was basically this: I want you to feel good for a long period of time. I don't want you to feel great for a short period of time. At the time, I didn't like that answer at all. I wanted great. I wanted full 100%. I wanted Parkinson's to sit down, shut up, and stop touching my stuff. But looking back now, I thank God for that doctor, Dr. Hobson. Thank God for you. Thank God for him. Because he was not trying to take something away from me. He was protecting the long game. He was helping me find the least amount of medication that gave me the most on time with the fewest side effects for as long as possible. And that is the balance. Not under-medicating yourself out of fear, not chasing perfect so that you burn through your day, but working with your doctor to build a medication plan that you can actually live inside. Now, I've been on levodopa for 15 years now. Do I have some dyskinesia? Absolutely. At times, I really do. But for the most part, I've been able to keep it at bay. And if somebody asks me, do you regret starting levodopa early? My answer is a big no. Levodopa gave me quality of life. It helped me move. It helped me function. It helped me keep living. And if I had avoided it out of fear, I honestly don't know what those years would have looked like. Now, that does not mean my path is everybody's path, but it's my truth. And I think people need to hear that side too, because sometimes all people hear is the warning. They don't hear the life medication can give back. Now, here's the honest trade-off. Most people I talk to who have experienced both sides, the symptoms of Parkinson's and the dyskinesia, often say something very similar. If I had to choose, many would rather deal with some dyskinesia than trapped in full Parkinson's symptoms all day. Now, not everyone, not every case. Dyskinesia can be very severe, but the answer comes up a lot because being off, stiff, slow, frozen, heavy, foggy, can feel like being locked inside yourself. Dyskinesia is frustrating, but not being able to move is terrifying too. That is why this conversation needs a good balance. The goal is not to avoid every possible side effect at all costs. The goal is to not take more medication than you need. The goal is to work with your doctor to find the right medication plan for you. The least amount that gives you the most on time with the fewest side effects for as long as possible. That is the sentence. That is the whole medication philosophy right there. And yes, I call it a medication cocktail sometimes, because Parkinson's medication can feel like a strange little bartender is back there mixing things. A little levodopa, a timing adjustment, a spacing change, maybe an extended release, shake it together, and hope the garnish does not cause nausea. But this is exactly why you need your doctor involved. This is not the time to become a basement pharmacist with a pill cutter in confidence. Track what happens, pay attention to timing, work with your doctor, and keep asking the better question. Not, how do I avoid medication forever, but how do I get the most life back with the least medication needed for as long as possible? Now, if dyskinesia is already happening, timing becomes really important. When does it start? When does it show up? Is it close to your dose? Is it later? Or is it worse when you're tired or stressed? Where is it showing up? How long does it last? Because those details matter. Because if you just say, I move too much, your doctor may not have enough to work with. You need the pattern. And I know tracking can feel annoying. Parkinson's already steals enough of the day, and now apparently wants my paperwork too. Fantastic. Neurological disease with admin duties. But the simple notes can help. Dose time, when the movement started, when it happened, how strong it is, what was going on around it. And that's enough. That's all you need to start to begin. You don't need a 47 column spreadsheet called Dyskinesia the Musical, unless you want one. In which case, honestly, I respect the commitment. The goal is to walk into your appointment and say, here's what I'm noticing, instead of trying to remember 3 months or 6 months of symptoms while sitting there wondering if you're going to start moving out of control. No one does their best thinking in that situation. Nobody. The entire goal is to walk into your appointment and say, here is what I'm noticing, instead of trying to think back and remember everything that's happened since the last time you met the doctor. All right, and now it's time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner. Now, usually I read what Carmen writes for me, but today we have something special. Carmen is actually here to do this one herself. So I'm going to step aside for a minute and behave myself, probably, and let Carmen share what dyskinesia can look like from the care partner side. Carmen, take it away.
Thanks, Bryce. Hello, beautiful people. It's been a minute. From the care partner side, dyskinesia can be tricky because you see the movements, but you don't always know what to do. You don't want to stare, you don't want to make the person feel embarrassed, but you also don't want to ignore something that might matter. And I think one of the biggest things is to talk about it before the moment happens. When someone is already uncomfortable or self conscious, that's usually not the best time to ask a million questions. It may help to ask ahead of time. Do you want me to mention it if I notice it? Do you want me to help track when it happens? Do you want me just to keep things normal? Because every person is different, and what feels helpful to one person might feel embarrassing to someone else. And I think care partners need to remember that the person with Parkinson's probably already knows something is happening. They may already feel self conscious. They may already notice people looking or staring. So kindness matters, patience matters, and dignity, above all else, matters. The goal is not to control the person, the goal is to support them. Sometimes that means helping track the patterns. Sometimes it means slowing down. And sometimes it means distracting from it in public. And sometimes it means saying nothing and just keeping things normal. So, my advice for care partners would be this: ask before you assume. Don't decide for the person what kind of help they need. Ask what feels supportive. And remember that dyskinesia is not just movement. It could also affect confidence. Your loved one is still your loved one. They are not a symptom. They are not a diagnosis. They are not a problem to solve. They are a person having a hard moment. Treat the person, not the symptom. And remember, they're the person you love. And while I'm talking to care partners for a second, please let me remind you of something very important. You need support too. Being a care partner can be rewarding, but it can also be exhausting, frustrating, lonely, and overwhelming at times. That's exactly why we have the Care Partners Club inside the club. It's a private place where you can vent, talk openly, and ask questions and get support from people who truly understand what you're going through. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. And believe me, I know how hard that is. So if you're a care partner and you need a safe place to land, a safe place to learn, and a safe place to be honest about what this journey is really like, come join us there. And now, because Bryce gave me permission to throw in a Carmenism, here it is. Sometimes the best care partner move is resisting the urge to narrate Bryce's every movement like you're hosting a nature documentary. Well, here in the wild, we see Bryce attempting to drink coffee. Notice the unexpected arm flourish. Sometimes love is knowing when to help, when to ask, and when to let the poor man drink his coffee in peace. I love that one. I really had to do the narrative. Anyway, thank you so much. Love you to pieces, everyone. And now it's going to go back to Bryce.
Well, there you go. I feel slightly attacked, but also loved, so we'll allow it. And Carmen is right. That line, ask before you assume, is huge because dyskinesia can already make you feel like your body's putting on a show that you did not agree to perform in. So if someone is trying to help, the best thing they can do is ask what kind of help actually feels helpful. Not controlling, not monitoring, but helpful. And now, Carmen just talked about noticing patterns without taking away your dignity. So let's make sure your doctor can see the pattern too. Because if you walk into your appointment and you say, I move too much, that may be true, but it may not tell the full story. So here's the sentence I promised you at the start. If I was trying to explain dyskinesia clearly to my neurologist, I would say this. I'm noticing involuntary movements around blank. Usually blank after my dose, mostly in my blank, and they seem worse than blank. That sentence gives your doctor 4 things. It gives them timing, dose relationship, body location, and trigger. So for example, I'm noticing involuntary movements around 11 a.m., usually about an hour after my dose, mostly in my shoulders and my head, and they seem worse when I'm tired or stressed. And that is a very different conversation than I move too much. Again, this is not about changing medication on your own. This is about giving your healthcare team better information, because the better information, the better the conversation. And the better the conversation will finally get you better balance. And that brings me to today's Bryce-ism. With Parkinson's medication, perfect can be expensive. Sometimes the win is not feeling amazing for an hour. It's feeling good enough to live your life for as long as possible. All right, if this video helped you, please hit the like button, not for me, but for the person sitting at home scared to even start medication because all they've heard about is dyskinesia. One click helps YouTube show this video to them. And if you're living with Parkinson's, or caring for someone who is, or trying to understand the disease better, subscribe and join us here. This isn't just a channel. This isn't just a podcast. This is a community. And in the comments, tell me this. Have you ever been afraid of Parkinson's medication because of dyskinesia? Or if you already have dyskinesia, what do you wish people understood about it? And care partners, we'd love to hear from you too. What helps you support someone without making them feel watched or corrected? Drop those in the comments. Your comment might help somebody else feel less afraid. All right, now, next episode, we're going to talk about freezing. That moment when your brain says go, but your feet apparently did not receive the email. And if you've ever frozen in a doorway, in a crowd, or in the middle of turning, you know how scary and frustrating that can be. So, we're going to go there next. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. And until next time, you keep showing up. You keep being real. You keep doing life today. I love you so much. And I'll see you on the next episode.